It has been a difficult few years for the Michigan Republican Party, with recent election results far from what the party wanted.
In 2023, entirely new leadership was chosen in hopes of changing the outcomes of future elections. And now that leadership is in question, and the party structure itself could go through another reorganization.
Political reporter Rick Alpin has been looking into the condition of the party and joins us now with what happens next. Rick?
Sue and Brian, the answer is we don't really know. We do know the Michigan GOP for years was a well-oiled machine with plenty of election success under their belt. With Ronna Romney McDaniel as the chair of the state party, Michigan voted for a Republican president in 2016. That was the first time since 1988. Then things changed. In 2018, Democrats swept the top of the ticket, winning the race for governor, secretary of state, and attorney general. Then 4 years later, Democrats won all of that and took the House and Senate. In 2023, the Republican Party chose a new direction in leadership, one that may be coming to an end.
Small group of people control the party to the
Last week, I sat down with the chairman of the Republican Party of Michigan. Probably. I say probably because the exact determination of who the official chair will be is still up in the air.
And that is how we act as a party.
Christina Caramo was elected as chair in 2023, but was voted out of office January 6th by some state party committee members. Caramo says the meeting was not binding. She's still in charge.
There's some massive philosophical differences within the populist wing of the party, and I believe that I represent a change.
The chairman recognizes.
A lot has changed for the Michigan GOP. Some of that change has resulted in some longtime traditional donors to the party keeping their checkbooks closed.
I believe just being a state chair, what I've observed is that I can't be corrupted, because there's this expectation that you play ball. It's like a little mafia, and I won't do that.
But on January 20th, 2 weeks after a vote to remove Caramo, and 1 week after she'd held a meeting with different committee members who reaffirmed her position, former Congressman and Ambassador Peter Hoekstra was elected chairman of the state party, at least by one contingent of committee members.
There was increasing concern that the Republican Party was not putting in place the framework to be successful in what's an absolutely critical presidential election year.
At least some party members voted for a change, and that sets up a dilemma for the national party that McDaniel now heads up. Which group to recognize? Last week, lawyers for the RNC said Caramo had been, quoting here, properly removed.
That she's no longer the chairwoman of the Michigan Republican Party.
What I find just bizarre is that you have media outlets reporting I'm not the chair. Like, I am the chair. I'm still legally the chair. These other individuals are not. They can claim what they want. The majority of the committee supports me. The majority of the delegates support me, and that's why there's just such this uprising in the people who support me, because it's the majority of the committee stands behind me. So how are we going to just be pushed out?
On Friday, Hoekstra, using the MIGOP logo, an address that previously housed the party for years in Lansing, issued a news release that included an endorsement by former President Trump that said in part, quote, "Pete will make the Republican Party of Michigan great again and has my complete and total endorsement to be its chairman." Now, it appears that the RNC, the Republican National Committee, will at some point have to decide who they're going to recognize, either Caramo or Hoekstra, as the rightful chair of the party. But there is no specific timeline for that. Brian?